Hello. Gopi Janna Balapa Girivaradari. I'm on tomorrow. Ah. Yeah. Gopi Janna Balaba Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tirdavanachari. Jamuna Tirdavanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Balaba Girivaradari. Gopi Janna Balaba Girivaradari. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tirdavanachari. Jamuna Tirdavanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hey Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parigraj Jagacharya Ashtadhara Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Go Premanandi. All glories to Sema devotees. All glories to Sema devotees. All glories to Sema devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Everyone please just move in. There's going to be more devotees coming, plus people will want to come and see that. Come in. Just squeeze right up. People will want to come and see the deities also. So that's it. Plenty of room. Mataji's come also. Come up. Just come up here. Come. Just so we've got room, more people will come in. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam divyam saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 1, chapter 3, chapter entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text number 28. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridiyanti Yuge Yuge Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridiyanti Yuge Yuge Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridiyanti Yuge Yuge. Mataji's. Ete, all these. Cha, and. Amsha, plenary portions. Kala, portions of the plenary portions. Pumsa, of the Supreme. Krishna, Lord Krishna. Tu, but. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Swayam, in person. Indra Adi, the enemies of Lord Indra. Vyakulam, disturbed. Lokam, all the planets. Mridiyanti, gives protection. Yuge Yuge, in different ages. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord, but Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Translation responsibly. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the demons. The atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Purport. In this particular stanza, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is distinguished from other incarnations. He is counted amongst the avatars incarnations because, out of his causeless mercy, the Lord descends from his transcendental abode. Avatar means one who descends. All the incarnations of the Lord, including the Lord himself, descend on the different planets of the material world, as also in different species of life, to fulfill particular missions. Sometimes he comes himself, and sometimes his different plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, or his differentiated portions, directly or indirectly empowered by him, descend on this material world to execute certain specific functions. Originally, the Lord is full of opulences, or prowess, or fame, or beauty, or knowledge, and or renunciation. When they are partly manifested through the plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. When in the room small electric bulbs are displayed, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large-scale industrial dynamos with greater volts. Similarly, the incarnations of the Lord display limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time. Omagyan timadandasya ginanjana shalakaya chakshun militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha Shri Chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swapadantikam vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhyevacha petitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanando Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Janmashtami Maha Mahotsava ki. So it was a little over 5,000 years ago that Krishna appeared on this planet in Mathura, in Vrindavan. And how long did he stay for when he came to this planet? 125 years. And he divided his pastimes into three phases. The first was in Braj, in Vrindavan. And Krishna stayed there for how long? About 10 years. 10 and a half. It was between 10 and 11 years Krishna stayed there in Vrindavan. And he manifested his Braj Leela, his Vrindavan pastimes. And actually the Acharyas mentioned when someone is very auspicious, when someone has a very auspicious personality, they age at 1.5 times their natural age. So even when Krishna was 7, he already looked like he was 11 years old. And when he was 10 to 11, just when he was leaving Vrindavan, he looked like he was 15 years old. So he was aging at a more fast rate. Even in this world, you'll see that people who are very auspicious, they can do like that. So he spent those first 10 to 11 years in Vrindavan, and then he went to Mathura. And how long was he in Mathura for? Yeah, about 18 years he was there, because you remember in the Krishna book, in the 10th canto, that there was one demon who kept attacking Mathura. Do you remember his name? Jarasandha. Remember Jarasandha attacked Mathura? And do you remember in the Krishna book how many times he attacked? 16, and then the 17th time, then Krishna went for a walk. That's why Krishna is known as Ranchor. Krishna said, that's enough. You come back every year, I do the same thing to you. And then the first year that it happened, he came with a huge army. Jarasandha was very powerful. He wasn't like some ordinary person. He was like extraordinary in power. And to put it in perspective, how powerful he was the father-in-law of Kamsa. So what he did, he attacked Mathura while Kamsa was living there. And when he attacked Mathura, he had one elephant. And the elephant's name was Kuvalayapid. That was Jarasandha's elephant. So he sent Kuvalayapid into Mathura to smash Mathura while Kamsa was living there. So when Kuvalayapid came in, you know how powerful Kuvalayapid was? He was as strong as 100,000 elephants. He was the most powerful elephant practically in the universe. So he came into Mathura, and when Kamsa saw him, Kamsa grabbed him, picked him up, and threw him over the wall, back out to Jarasandha. And Kuvalayapid went on the ground, and Jarasandha saw him land, and he thought, okay, this person is very powerful, as powerful as me. So instead of defeating him, I'll make an alliance. Right? He can marry my daughter, and then we'll have a strong alliance between ourselves. So then Kamsa, he married Jarasandha's daughter, and Krishna killed Kamsa. But then after Krishna killed Kamsa, then Jarasandha attacked Mathura to kill Krishna. So when he got there to Mathura, he came in, and Krishna defeated his whole armies, Krishna and Balaram, practically single-handedly, smashed his entire army. It was a big army. And then he said, go, leave this place. So Jarasandha left, and it points out that when he went home, his friends said, oh, it was just bad luck. The Jyotish was not good. Everything was inauspicious. You just came at the wrong time, like that. Go again, next year you'll defeat him. So this happened 17 times. And Krishna at the end, Krishna said, okay, this is enough. But actually Krishna wanted to move from Mathura to Dwaraka, to begin Dwaraka Leela. So Krishna was on the earth for 125 years. So the last must be like 96 years or so. Then Krishna stayed mainly in Dwaraka. All of the Mathurabasis, they woke up one morning and they were living surrounded by the ocean. They were in Dwarka. Krishna transformed everyone overnight while everyone was resting, and suddenly everyone was living in Dwarka. And then you'll see the pastimes in Dwarka go on for many, many, many years. So when Krishna appeared, it was just over 5,000 years ago. Does anyone know the exact number? It's 5,100 and something. I saw it recently, but I didn't write it down, so I can't remember exactly. But it was just over 5,000 years ago that Krishna was here. So he stayed for 125 years. So he had his Braj Leela, his Mathura Leela, and his Dwarka Leela. Now today is the anniversary, so this is the Titi, Rohini Nakshatra. The moon is Ashtami, perfectly in half. When I came this morning, Mangalati, it was not quite half perfectly, but then I went out just before, maybe at 6:30. It's almost perfectly in half now. So there's Ashtami. Ashtami is very auspicious time. So if you do anything on an Ashtami, you will get good benefit. On a Purnima, Amavasya, Ashtami, they have power these particular days. So Ashtami is extremely auspicious. And Radharani, whose birthday is very soon, she also appears on the Ashtami. It's a very auspicious time. So Krishna appeared on this time, and 5,000 years later, we are still celebrating. We are still remembering. And you see on Janmashtami, more people come to the temple than any other day of the year. Why? Because Krishna is the most popular personality. So what is the point of Janmashtami, right? It is to connect ourselves directly to Krishna. Sometimes in devotional service we feel a little despondent or unenthusiastic, or we lose our enthusiasm. Hands up, did that ever happen to you? Sometimes you lose your enthusiasm? Okay, about half the audience? Okay, so the people who didn't put their hand up, then you associate with them. Right? Because they're very enthusiastic, which is good. That's how we should be. But if you put your hand up, that means we need to redevelop our enthusiasm. So in the Harinam Chintamani, Haridas Thakur says, if you're feeling a little bit unenthusiastic, sometimes we do. Sometimes we feel a little bit challenged, or like devotion service becomes difficult, or life becomes difficult. Haridas Thakur says to remedy that, then on the auspicious days like Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Gaura Purnima, Julanyatra, any of these special days, you fully absorb yourself in hearing and chanting and seva, and your enthusiasm will reappear. And it happened to me on a number of occasions. Sometimes I was feeling unenthusiastic, and then Janmashtami came, and I threw myself in to service all day, hearing and chanting all day. And then afterwards you feel so much enthusiasm, you feel revitalized in devotional service. These days are so purifying. So we should fully absorb ourselves in this day. Just like when we do a jagya, we say swaha, swaha, swaha. What does this mean? Swa. Swa. We say swaha. Swa means my own or myself, me. Swa, my own. I am offering you, because Krishna appears in the sacred fire, I'm offering you myself, my own. I'm offering you my own ghee, my own grains. I'm offering these oblations into the fire. Swaha. Right? So we're offering. I'm giving to you, my Lord. I'm giving to you. So after we do the swaha, then we often chant, idam Krishna, idam na mama. This is for Krishna. Idam na mama. Nothing is for me. So that is our mantra on Janmashtami. I chant this mantra in my mind all day long on Janmashtami. Idam Krishna, idam na mama. This is all for Krishna. Nothing is for me. That should be our consciousness on Janmashtami. And if you do that, you will feel unlimited enthusiasm coming. The Lord will reciprocate with you unlimitedly. You could go back to Godhead today. It's possible. In your mind, in your consciousness, you could fully see Krishna in his original form. Of course, you would have to surrender completely, but it's possible. That is the power of Janmashtami, right? It is Maha Mahotsava. It is the greatest of all the festivals. You see, so many people will come today. Why? Because it is Janmashtami, it is Krishna's appearance. So, what is particular in this verse? This verse is very significant. This verse is called Paribhasa Sutra, which means the governing verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam and you don't understand the context, all right, or how it relates to the entire book, just like you read the 5th canto and you hear a description of the hellish planets, or you read the 3rd canto and you hear a very meticulous description of creation, or you read the 7th canto and suddenly a half-man, half-lion God jumps out of a pillar, kills a demon and wraps his intestines around his neck. Right? And then we think, well, how does that relate to the Srimad Bhagavatam? Then you come back to this verse, it will tell you how it relates. Because the entire Bhagavatam is glorifying Krishna. So this verse governs the entire Bhagavatam. Every Shastra has a Paribhasa Sutra, a governing verse. Just like in Brahma Samhita, you have Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That verse governs the entire Brahma Samhita. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion, and Yabilashita Shunyam Jnana Kamadyanavritam Anukuyena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakti Uttama. right? That verse governs the entire book. So the entire Bhagavatam, the 18,000 verses, are elaborating this verse. Now what does this verse say? Ete chamsa kala pumsa, right? Amsha. Amsha means a part. Krishna has many incarnations, right? Ramachandra, Nrsimhadev, Varaha, Koma, Matsya. The list goes on and on and on. So many incarnations. Prabhupada says in the verses around this verse, he says there are so many incarnations, it's like the waves in the ocean. You can't count them. When you think you've seen all the incarnations, Krishna says, oh, look at this incarnation. I also have this incarnation. All the incarnations mentioned in the Bhagavatam, that's not even all the incarnations. There are more. So, Amsha means a part. Kala means a portion of a portion. Who is Krishna's first expansion? Lord Balaram, right? He is first. And then from Balaram comes the Chaturvyuha. Yeah, very good. The Adi Chaturvyuha, Sankarshana. Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana. This is his first. Then from the Adi Chaturvyuha comes Lord Narayan. Then from Lord Narayan comes the second Chaturvyuha and all the Vaikuntha expansions. And then from them comes Mahavishnu. And then Garbhodakshay Vishnus, so many Garbhodakshay Vishnus. And then unlimited Kshirodakshay Vishnus. So parts of parts. Portions of portions. But if you go back, who is the original portion? Who is the original personality? That is Krishna. Lord Brahma makes it very simple to understand. One candle lights many other candles. The candle that is original, that is Krishna. All the other candles, they are his expansions, his incarnations. So there is one pastime in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, Brahma Vimohana Lila. That is the pastime where Lord Brahma gets bewildered. Vimohana. Mohan means? Attract, yeah, or bewilders. Bewildering. Mohan. One who bewilders. Vimohan means complete bewilderment. It means you don't even know what's going on anymore. That's what Lord Brahma was like. You know the pastime, Krishna took everything. Right? He took everything, put them here, came back one moment later and everything's still there. And he thought, wait a minute, I'll just put everything there. So he looks back, oh, it's all there. And then he comes back, but it's here as well. And then he starts getting confused. He starts thinking, what's going on? They're here, they're also here. And then he looks at these group, and they all start they all start manifesting four arms. And we're not ordinary group. We are non-different from God. We are God. And then he gets vimohan. And then he becomes very nervous. This was the final pastime that Prabhupada translated in the Bhagavatam. Right? Prabhupada finishes at the end of chapter 13. 13 and 14 are Brahma Vimohan Lila. This is where Prabhupada finishes his translation in the Bhagavatam, at that place. So then, you'll see in the next chapter, in 14, Brahma comes and offers prayers. And he bows down on the ground. And Krishna at this point is a young cowherd boy. He's probably only about 5 or 7, something like that. And he's in the forest. The calves have gone missing, the cows have gone missing, right? He's gone off, he said to all his friends, just sit down, keep having lunch, just sit down, I'll go and find them, I'll be back soon. He goes off, he's in the forest, it says in his hand, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, he has dahi. So he has some yogurt in his left hand. Do you ever touch prasadam with your left hand? Why? Because of the muchi hand, right? We don't touch it, but Krishna has dahi in the left hand. And in between his fingers, he has a little bit of lemon, a little bit of ginger, and he's like breaking it off and mixing it with the dahi, and he's walking through the forest eating. And then he comes around the corner, one tree, and there's a huge man with 4 faces, Chaturmukha, who is golden, who falls down like a stick, dandavat, at Krishna's feet. And Krishna looks down and he thinks, who's this guy? Like, he's not normally in Vrindavan. And then Krishna he's just sitting there eating, And then that 14th chapter, those beautiful prayers that Brahma is offering, Krishna is just sitting there eating yogurt the whole time. And he's just thinking, and then he's on his knees and he's crying and he's shaking and he's offering prayers, my Lord, please forgive me. And Krishna's just thinking, who's the guy? I'm just trying to find the calves. It's like, and then he finishes and he says, please forgive. And Krishna says, okay. And he walks off. Right? Krishna's so absorbed in his Leela, Braj Leela, that he cannot relate to this Aishwarya in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is Madhurya Dham. Right? Dwarka is Aishwarya Dham. So when people have too much Aishwarya, when they're in Vrindavan, Krishna cannot relate to that. So therefore he just walks off on Lord Brahma. So then he goes back and he finds his friends and the calves and everyone has a good time. And then 1 year passes. Before that happens, there's 1 year that passes in the meantime. So that 1 year that passed, where Krishna is the calves and Krishna is the cowherd boys and everything goes on in Vrindavan for 1 year, that pastime happened on Baladev Purnima. Because Lord Balaram was not there. Lord Balaram stayed home that day. It was his Jayanti, his birthday. So then 1 year passes, and then near the end of the year, Lord Balaram, he thinks all the calves have so much affection, all the cows have so much affection to the calves, like Krishna, and all of the parents have so much affection for the boys, like Krishna, something is going on. So then Balaram says to Krishna, did you do something? And Krishna said, yeah. He said, 362 days ago, Lord Brahma did this and I did this and, and I'm just having fun with Brahma. And Balaram says, Acha. He goes, okay, this is good. So even Balaram, this pastime shows that Krishna is the original person. He's Swayam Bhagavan. Right? This verse says that. Ete chamsa kalapumsa. There are many parts, there are many portions, there are many incarnations. Krishna's two means but Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna. Now, not even just any Krishna. Now, if we want to get technical, do you want to get technical? You do? Okay, we'll get technical then. If you want to get technical, it's not any form of Krishna. The Swayam Bhagavan is Brajendra Nandana. He is the original cowherd boy in Vrindavan. That is the original form. Right? And when he leaves, in the Krishna book, in the 10th canto, when he leaves Vrindavan, he goes to Mathura, Akrura is taking him, and when they get to Akrura Ghat, which is, when you do Parikrama Vrindavan? When you go around the backside, and then you're going down, and then suddenly there's a sharp right, and you head back towards Krishna Balaram temple. You know where I'm talking about? That place where it goes like that, very sharp. That's Akrura Ghat, just to the left there. Right? That's where the river, the Jamuna, used to flow. So at Akrura Ghat, Krishna and Balaram got off the chariot, jumped in the Jamuna, and then it describes in the 10th canto in the Krishna book that their expansions, right, Mathura Nath, then he went to Mathura. But the original form of Krishna and Balaram, they never leave Vrindavan. And Prabhupada explains, where do they go? Because it appeared they had left. So where were they? Prabhupada explains they jump into the devotees' hearts. Right? Krishna jumps into your heart. He's in your heart right now. Can you see him? Why can't we see him? Because the heart is too dirty. Lord Chaitanya says, you have to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Cheto dapana marjanam. You have to cleanse your heart. Because Krishna has already jumped in your heart. He's already there, but we can't see him. So we chant today. Whatever service you're doing today, chant constantly. Kirtaniya sada hari. And hopefully we'll purify and we'll maybe see Krishna at some point. Because he is sitting there within our heart. So he jumps into the heart of all the devotees. Prabhupada also says in another place, he's hiding behind a tree in Vrindavan. He appeared to leave Vrindavan, but then the original form does not leave. So where is he? Prabhupada said he hides behind a tree in Vrindavan. So then sometimes when the gopis are chanting the Gopi Gita in the 10th canto, Krishna's just behind the bush. waiting. He's listening to everything. So Krishna is there. He never leaves Vrindavan. That is the Swayam Bhagavan. That is the original form of Krishna. The Acharyas explain that in Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, Krishna has different forms there also, right? The original form of Krishna lives in the forest of Vrindavan eternally, with Srimati Radharani. And there is another form who is an expansion of that original form, who lives in Nandagram, in the center of Vrindavan. He lives in Nandagram and he's married to Srimati Radharani eternally. So you can go back to Goloka Vrindavan and you can live around Nandagram and you can serve Radha and Krishna who are married together in Nandagram, or you can live in the forest eternally, where the rasa dance takes place and Parakiya Bhav takes place, and that is the original form of Krishna, living out there in the forest. So today you can pray to Krishna and you can pray to him, please let me come and live with you again at Goloka Vrindavan. And you can choose which form you want to live to. Whatever's in your heart, Krishna will reciprocate with. Yeyata mam prabhajante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. Whatever you desire, I will reciprocate. So today is the day to meditate on our deepest spiritual desires. For many years I've done retreats with Burujan Prabhu and Sachinandan Swami in Vrindavan, in Govardhan and Vashana. And a few years ago, Burujan Prabhu said to us at the beginning of the retreat, he said, aim high. Aim high. Whatever your highest spiritual aspirations are, aim for that. Because on a day like today, Janmashtami, it is the day to aim high. Whatever your deepest spiritual desires are, if you go to Radha Vallabha and you serve them and you pray to them, they may fulfill your desires. It's easy for them to fulfill your desires. So, what makes this particular form, the original form of Krishna, unique? What makes him Swayam Bhagavan, that original form? If you read in the Nectar of Devotion, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami says, Krishna has 64 qualities. What are the 64? There are so many. There are so many. He has qualities which pertain to his voice or his speech. One of his 64 qualities, he can speak the language of any other creature. Right? He can speak to the birds. You know, the parrots land on his finger. And then he speaks to them. And the parrot speaks to him. And he says, okay, go. And then they go. And they fly off and they go and find Radharani, and then she listens. What's the message? Okay, you tell him this. And then she sends the message back. That's how it works. He can speak the language of any other. So he has all these 64 qualities. It says that the jiva can have 50 of these qualities partially. We can all have these qualities partially, which means we can speak to animals also, partially. But our speaking of animals may not be so good. We may not know their language perfectly, but we can do something. But then, above the 50 qualities, there are 5 extra qualities which Shiva and Brahma also have in a much more developed sense. And then beyond that, there are another 5 qualities which only Lord Narayan has, not even Shiva and Brahma have. And then beyond that, there are 4 qualities which only Krishna has. And not even any form of Krishna, but only the original form of Krishna in Vrindavan. So that is Leela Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, and Prema Madhurya. Right? Prema Madhurya means the unique love that Krishna has with the Brijbasis. Right? It is unique. Because in Vrindavan, there are 5 rasas. Rupa Goswami teaches us in the Nectar of Devotion. But in Vrindavan, 3 of the rasas are primary or prominent. Right? Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya ras. So these rasas are there and they are prominent. Now, if you go into Vaikuntha and you visit Lord Narayan, there is no Vatsalya ras. Where do you ever hear about Lord Narayan's parents? You don't hear. There is no parents of Lord Narayan, right? There is only Dasya. Even Lakshmi, even though she's married to him, but the mood is dasya, it is servitorship. Right? When you go to Vrindavan, you have Madhurya, Vatsalya, and Sakya unlimitedly. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we hear that Gopakumar, he was traveling up towards Vrindavan, to Goloka Vrindavan, and he stopped off in Vaikuntha. And when he got to Vaikuntha, he saw Lord Narayan from a distance. And Lord Narayan, what color is he? Right? He is bluish, same as Krishna, same. Just like you remember in the gopis in the 10th canto, when they saw him in the forest, they thought, oh, that is Krishna, but it was Krishna had Narayan Vesh. He had Narayan form. Same color, they look very similar. So, Gopakumar, he saw from a distance, he saw Lord Narayan, but he thought it was Gopal, he thought it was Krishna. So he said, hey Gopal! Hey Gopal! Hey Gopal! He's calling out to his friend, right? And then everyone in Vaikuntha said, hey, shh, what are you doing? You don't just go up to Lord Narayan and say, hey Gopal! This is Lord Narayan. You go up to him, right? Purusha Sukta. You chant these mantras. This is the Supreme Lord. You don't just say, hey Gopal. No, we don't have Vatsalya, we don't have Sakyaras here in Vaikuntha, right? You go. I think you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan. Why don't you go there? Everyone in Vaikuntha, they think that is the best. They think Goloka Vrindavan is just like a secondary place, secondary pastime. They say, why don't you go there? And then you can say, hey Gopal, and you can play with Krishna. But if you're here in Vaikuntha, no, the mood is awe and reverence. But actually we know from Bhagavatam that Goloka is the highest place and Narayan is the expansion, the Vaikuntha planets are the expansion. So this is called Prema Madhurya, the sweetness in Vrindavan of Krishna's friends. Right? We hear that Krishna's friends, they wrestle with him, sometimes they beat him, they defeat him. Every morning, Krishna wakes up in the morning. What's the first thing that Krishna does when he wakes up? What's that? Eats? Yeah, what does he eat? What is it? Yeah, milk sweets, but in particular, what does he eat? First thing, rubbery. You know, when in the morning, we offer Tarada Vallabha at Mangalati time. You know, the very thick condensed milk, we cook it down, that rubbery. That's the first thing that Krishna eats. He wakes up in the morning. He wakes up, he sits up in bed, Mother Yashoda comes in. Balaram sits on one side, Madhu Mangal sits on the other side. And then they start eating rubbery before they even go and brush their teeth or anything. Right? Everyone's just eating rubbery. Does it sound good? And you're attached to staying in the material world. If you go back to the spiritual world, you can eat rubbery first thing in the morning. You don't even have to brush your teeth. This is a good life. But you're attached to staying here in Middle Park. So they begin to eat rubbery, right? And then Madhu Mangala says, have you got any more? So Mother Yashoda gives more, and then he eats it. He says, have you got any more? And she gives him more, and she says, okay, that's enough. Batu. Okay, enough, relax. Right? Then they go, they brush their teeth, they do everything, and then Krishna goes and he milks the cows. He goes to the Goshala, right? And he begins to milk the cows. So when after he milks the cows, every morning, as they walk back up the hill to Nandagram, they have a wrestling match. There's a wrestling arena, small one, like, you know, I don't know how big, but maybe say as big as this room or something, made of earth, and they jump in, and every morning, Sri Dharma and Krishna have a big wrestling match. Sri Dharma is the brother of Srimati Radharani. So he comes from his own village. He comes from Varshana side. So he comes over, they help milk the cows, and then before they go up the hill, before breakfast, wrestling match. I will defeat you today. Krishna, who are you? You cannot defeat me. Yesterday you thought you were good, today I will crush you. Krishna says, come on. I am the prince of Braj, Brajendra. I can defeat anyone, just get in this. So they jump in, big wrestling match. It said they crash like bulls, like this. They run at each other, and they pick each other up and throw each other to the ground, right? Big wrestling match. Afterwards, when they're finished, then they walk up the hill. Krishna says, see, I could beat you. Sri Dharma said, you did not win. I won today. No. And they have arguments. Goes on all the time, right? People argue a lot in the spiritual world. Right? But in the spiritual world, it always finishes in sweetness, madhurya. Right? Down here, it doesn't always finish like that. Sometimes it does. But sometimes people don't talk to each other for 7 lifetimes. Oh, it's you. Oh, okay. We keep coming back and seeing each other. Oh, it's you again. Oh, my God. But in the spiritual world, we argue, but everything is sweet. It is madhurya. So then they go up and they have breakfast every morning. That is Sakya Ras, pure Sakya Ras, where sometimes Krishna puts them on his shoulders and carries them around. We can't imagine this. We cannot imagine it. Ballabha is standing there. We've been serving him for many years. I can't imagine sitting on his shoulders, on the deity of Ballabha. I can't imagine it. Any of the deity, I could not do it. If someone ordered me, no, I can't do it. Right? But in the spiritual world, in Goloka, such intimate relationship, prema madhurya, that Krishna and the cowherd boys, even Krishna carries them on his shoulder, and they will allow it, and he will allow it. And there's just a feeling of pure friendship, right? And then pure Vatsalya Ras. Pure Vatsalya Ras means that Krishna feels that he's dependent on Nanda Maharaj. When there is thunder in the sky at night time, Krishna runs and jumps into the bed of Nanda Maharaj, right? And he holds on to Nanda Maharaj when he hears the thunder in the sky. Because he feels, this is my father, he will protect me. And then later on, sometimes during the day they have meetings. There's a place near Nandagram called Nanda Baitak, just down the hill from Nandagram. You can go there. And Nanda Maharaj used to sit there in a hall, an outdoor pavilion with all the bridge buses, and they would talk about Krishna. And sometimes they'd say, Nanda Maharaj, I think we have to be very careful because Krishna is not ordinary. He killed so many demons. I think he's a demigod. And then someone says, I think he is Narayan himself. And Nanda Maharaji says, Narayan? Narayan. He can't even control his senses, right? He's always, whenever there's milk sweets around, just like, more, 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 more. He can't even control his senses. He tells lies. Does Lord Narayan tell lies? He tells lies. He walks in, and Nanda Maharaj says, the gopis next door said you've been stealing their butter. Krishna says, I wasn't even there. He said, I wasn't even in the area today. Well, why are they complaining about you then? He said, He said, maybe they tell lies, I don't know. Hey, there's one gopi, elder gopi, she caught him one time. He was in the house. She caught him. She grabbed him and said, now I will take you to Mother Yashoda. Now I'll prove once and for all, you were stealing the butter. So she walks in to Mother Yashoda's house. Walks in, she's holding Krishna by the hand. See, now I've got him. And Mother Yashoda looks and he said, what do you mean? He said, I've got him. He was still, now I'm proving to you. Right? And Mother Yashoda looks, says, what are you talking about? And then she looks down, it's not Krishna, it's her son. And she's like, and Mother Yashoda said, what are you talking about? And she said, Mataji, I don't know. And she walks outside. She walks around the corner and she looks down, and then it's Krishna again. Right? And then Krishna says, if you ever do that again, next time I'll turn into your husband. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki. This is pure Vatsalya Ras. Pure Vatsalya Ras. Right? So only in Vrindavan will you find these dealings. And then pure Madhurya Ras. Madhurya Ras means the love between Krishna and the gopis. It is pure. Right? In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, gold which has been purified in 1,000 fires. That is the gopis' love for Krishna. Right? 1,000 fires. It has been purified. It is the purest love for Krishna. Prema, Madhurya. It is the sweetest, purest love. Right? You know the pastime where Narada, he goes to the devotees. He says, Krishna has a headache. right? We need to take the dust from your feet, put it on his head. Imagine if we came to you and said, Prabhuji, it's Janmashtami, give some dust from your feet, I have to put on Ballabha's head because he has a headache today. Right? I said, no way. I will go to hell. You would never do it. So Narada asked so many devotees, please give the dust. Everyone said no. Then he went to the gopis, right? And he said to the gopis, Krishna has a headache. They said, how do we stop it? He said, he needs the dust from your feet. They said, okay, take it quick. Right? Take the dust. Go and put it. And then Narada said, but you'll go to hell. Right? And the gopis say, that's okay. We'll go to hell. But his headache has to be fixed. Right? That is prema madhurya. That is the highest love that Krishna has for the gopis. This is only found in Vrindavan. Right? You won't find it anywhere else. That's why the gopis' love is the highest of all the loves. Right? So that is the quality of prema madhurya. Then we have lila madhurya. Lila madhurya means the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. We just told so many pastimes, right? They're so sweet. You know, Krishna is always doing something, right? Unlimited sweet pastimes. It says in the spiritual world, it is like a mahotsava. Mahotsava means like a huge festival. Like today, we get an idea of what it's like in the spiritual world. It's like that every day in the spiritual world. And then when it's Janmashtami, it just goes to another level. Right? When it's Krishna's birthday, it just escalates even more. But everything is Mahotsava. Just like we had last week, we had my favorite festival, Julan Yatra. Right? So many beautiful festivals we have, but Julan, that's my favorite festival. So then on Julan Yatra, it describes in Ananda Vrindavan Champu, there's a big grove in the middle of the night. The gopis go into the grove with Krishna, and there's a big grove, and there's huge trees, and there are 4 julans in the 4 directions. But these julans are so big, they're like platforms. And Krishna stands on them with gopis. And the manjaris and the other gopis, they begin to push the swings, and they begin to go like this. And Krishna's standing on them, right, with all the gopis, right? And there's 4 of them, and they keep going out and coming in. And every time they come in close to each other, when they're doing this Julan Yatra, they do Holi. So as they come close, everyone starts throwing colours on each other on the other swings. And then the swings go out and then they come back in. This is the prema lila madhurya, the sweetness of his pastimes. Hands up if you would like to go there. Then you better chant pretty seriously today. Because you can go there, but you have to show Krishna that you're serious about going there. Right? He can take you there today. You can see all of that today. But you have to be very serious. So that is Lila Madhurya, Prema Madhurya. Then Rupa Madhurya. Rupa Madhurya means the beauty of his form. Right? When he is in Vrindavan dressed as a cowherd boy, he is the most beautiful. At the end of the 10th canto, there's the meeting in Kurukshetra, where Krishna meets with the gopis after many years in Kurukshetra. And when they see him, he is dressed as the king, as the prince of Dwarka. So he has a helmet on, a crown, dressed very opulently. And then they take him off to a very private place. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, they take one of their chaddars and they put it on the ground for him. They flick it, they put it on the ground and they say, please sit. And he sits on that chaddar. He's the king of Dwarka. Normally he sits on golden thrones. But then when he's back with the gopis again after a long time, he just sits on their chaddar. And then they get very upset with him. They said, you left years ago, and you said when you left, you would be back in a couple of days. And you did not come back. And they were very upset with him. Right? That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, says Kurukshetra is the highest of the pastimes, in one sense, because the intensity of the emotions, when the gopis finally see Krishna again, it is so intense. And actually that is when Jagannath appeared, one of the times that Lord Jagannath appeared in that form. Because the Brijbasis, they had not seen Krishna for many years, and when the Dwarkabasis, who hadn't met them before, when they saw the Brijbasis and how much love, then they, tell us about these people, tell us about these devotees, we want to understand them. So Rohini, who was Balaram's mother, she lived in Vrindavan and Dwarka. So then she went into a big pandala with the Dwarkabasis, and she said to Subhadra, Krishna's sister, guard the entrance of the pandala. I'm going to tell everyone in Dwarka, all the Dwarkabasis, about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, but don't let Krishna and Balaram come in. Because if they hear how much the Brijbasis are feeling separation from Krishna, Krishna and Balaram could not handle it. So Subhadra was listening, but she became so ecstatic hearing. You know when someone's talking about you, right? You become utkanta. Utkanta means your neck gets long. You go like this, like that, and your eyes get wide. Oh, who's talking about me? Right? So then Subhadra, she was hearing about Krishna and Balaram being spoken about, and she became so ecstatic, and her limbs came into her body, and she turned into this form of Subhadra. And then Balaram came along, and he saw Subhadra, and he thought, I've never seen her like this. So then he listened, and then Krishna came and turned into Jagannath. Right? And this is where Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra, this is where their forms come from Kurukshetra Lila. So when the gopis were with Krishna in Kurukshetra, and they saw Krishna in his Vesh as a king, the prince of Dwarka, they said to him, we don't want to see you like this. Come now to Vrindavan. Let's immediately leave. We just want to see you in your Rupa Madhurya with the peacock feather, right? And the turban, and your flute, and no shoes on your feet. Does Krishna ever wear shoes? In Vrindavan, does Krishna ever wear shoes? No, he doesn't wear shoes. He's always barefoot. Just come and we want to see that form, right? And we want to dance in Vrindavan under the full moon on the spring night. So they are attracted to that Rupa Madhurya, that form of Krishna in Vrindavan. So we have Leela Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Prema Madhurya, and Venu Madhurya. Krishna's flute, the sweetness of his flute. Krishna has 3 types of flutes. What are the names of the 3 types? Vamshi, Murali, and Venu. Yeah, 3 types of flutes. One is very long, like about 18 inches long and very deep, Krishna plays. One is about 12 inches long, which he plays, more high-pitched. And then he has one which is only 6 inches long, which he plays with one hand, and he plays it very high-pitched, which he calls the cows with this. So when the devotees hear the Venu of Krishna, it says in Vrindavan, everything which is animated becomes inanimated, and everything which is inanimated becomes animated. So the Jamuna River, she flows, and when she hears Krishna's flute, she stops, and she starts flowing backwards towards Krishna's flute, wherever he is playing the flute. It says the cows, they're chewing, but when Krishna plays the flute, everyone just goes, it says it looks like a picture. Everyone just becomes stunned, right? And the cows are just, and just as the grass starts falling from their mouths. And then it says the birds are flying, and they hear Krishna's flute, and they're flying, but they hear the flute, they just go. And then they all fall to the ground because they forget to fly. So wherever Krishna is playing his flute, there are birds falling everywhere. This is the nature of Krishna. Everything animated becomes inanimated, that is the power of his flute. And Prabhupada says in the Anchalila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the sound of Krishna's flute when it comes into this world. Krishna is playing his flute right now in Goloka Vrindavan, right? And it comes into this world to find us as the sound of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if you deepen your chanting, then you can meditate like this. This is the sound of Krishna's flute. And when Krishna plays his flute, all the devotees hear their names being called. Hey, Hanuman, 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 come back to me, Hanuman. Come. All the devotees hear their names. Krishna plays one flute, but when he's playing the flute, Radharani hears Radha, Radha, right? Lalita hears Laliti, Lalite. Vishaka hears O Vishaki. Like everyone hears that is the power of Krishna's flute. So today Krishna is calling all of us. But will we respond? No? Will we be there for him? So today, one day of the year, just give 100% to Krishna. from morning until night. We still have another 15 hours, 16 hours of service left, right? So it's a long, long haul. But we do this one day of the year. We just do it for Krishna. Give up eating. Give up sleeping. Give up any sense gratification. Just chant Krishna's name all day long and just do as much service as you can. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki. Jai. Janmashtami Maha Mahotsava ki. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Any questions or comments? Can't hear.
Maybe I'll say one and then someone else. We mentioned today we can pray to the Lord and think about the form that we don't want to have.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, we hear that we already have that eternal relation with the Lord.
Yeah.
We were in that form
Yeah.
already. And then we
Yeah. What's the question?
meditate on how do we know? Like, if I want to, if someone wants to be in specific, maybe eternal form or something else.
So what's the question? What should we meditate on?
Yeah.
Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says, dive deep into the ocean of Dasya Ras to Lord Chaitanya. Right? Just meditate on Lord Chaitanya and just serve his mission. Just serve ISKCON. Right? 100%. Give your life to ISKCON. Right? And then, but he says, if you dive deep into the ocean of Dasya Ras servitorship to Lord Chaitanya will bring you up onto the shore of your eternal relationship with Radha and Krishna. So don't try to get there too quickly. Right? It will come automatically. It will come. You'll get feelings when you chant, which rasa you're attracted to, but that will come in time. So just first of all, give 100%. Are you willing to do anything for Lord Chaitanya? That's the qualification. If you're not willing to do that, then... So sometimes people say, I want to be a gopi, I want to be a manjari, I want to be a cowherd boy. Are you qualified? What's that? No, but the point is that sometimes devotees try to jump over, right? They try to get there, but first you have to have pure servitorship to Lord Chaitanya first. That will be your qualification to then know Radha Krishna.
Service to Lord Chaitanya, so that's mainly because in this stage I'm coming just for my service. I don't have love or all that, but as a matter of duty, we just try and serve.
No, service. It's not duty, it's service. Duty means you have to do it. We don't have to be here today. We're not serving Krishna today out of duty. We're serving him out of love, actually, right? Out of service. We just want to serve him today. It's not duty. No one's forcing us to be here. We want to be here. We want to give everything. So just serve Lord Chaitanya like that, and one day Radha Krishna will manifest to you. Okay? TK? Just keep serving at Crossways, and one day you'll see Radha. One day you'll look out on Swanston Street, you'll see Radha and Krishna dancing. And then you will know you have made it. Right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one day I was doing arti in my home and it turned into Goloka Vrindavan. So one day you will be serving out, when you're 95 at Crossways, you'll be serving your last plate and you'll look out the window and everything will turn into Goloka Vrindavan. And then you'll walk into that pastime and we'll build one samadhi just on the street, just there. Okay? Okay. You're the mic.
It's in the chanting of Hare Krishna. So there's the external, our service, but there's also the internal development of our chanting. We start off in the offensive stage. We should move quickly to the clearing stage. Once we've got to the clearing stage, then that's when we'll start moving towards pure devotional service. And that's where Krishna will start to reveal our relationship. but that relationship's not won't be revealed unless we've moved, up to that point. And that's why the chanting of Hare Krishna is so important in the Hare Krishna movement, because there's the external, purposes of Lord Chaitanya's appearance, which is preaching, Sankirtan, whatever, but there's also the internal development that's really displayed by Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri in the later years, where he's deeply absorbed in his remembrance and in the separation of Krishna, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. But that for us, that stage is not achieved or isn't realised unless we work on our chanting. So we have our external services to support, and that's the confirmed, and that's the unique feature of Lord Chaitanya, and the great benediction and blessing that we receive from Lord Chaitanya is that when we purify our chanting of Hare Krishna, we can be elevated into those prema, madhurya rasas that you were talking about. That's what Lord Chaitanya is giving. And that's why he's called Mahavadanyaya, the most magnanimous, because he's giving us that opportunity to enter into prema madhurya rasa, but it's achieved through the chanting of Hare Krishna. And our external services or whatever, in one sense, are kind of they're important because obviously we need to do something.
They're a manifestation of your love.
Exactly, yes.
Thanks.
You're emphasizing that everybody should really focus on Krishna on this day. But some of us have got service outside of Krishna consciousness in that we may have to go to work, we may have to go to school. How do we remain conscious of Krishna on this day? Can you give some tips that we can actually utilize even though we have to go to our offices or drive in our cars or whatever?
Yeah, if you do have to go into the material world today and perform your worldly responsibilities, then it says Kirtaniyaha Sadahari. You can chant in the mind continuously, as much as you can, as much as is practical. You can also, when the boss is not looking at the computer, you can read Bhagavatam or Krishna book, or there are ways. I know devotees who do a lot of that kind of stuff. And then, if you do have to work, you should be giving, maybe this week, because it's Janmashtami, maybe you give extra financial contribution to the temple. And then sometimes devotees ask, because the religious duty of a grihasta is dana. Dana means charity. So then devotees sometimes ask, how much should I give? And what we say to the devotees is, when it begins to hurt, seriously, that's when you know you're giving. Because if I make $1,000 a week, I give $10 to Krishna, I don't feel it. If I give 100, I start to feel it. If I give 200, I begin, a little uncomfortable. If I give 500, I become very distressed. So that means it's a good amount to give. Right? And then if you give 1,000, then the guru may have to come back to your wife and give it back, and then. That's it.
That's fine. Would you think that it would be also beneficial for those that you're working with to somehow or other distribute them mercy on the day, and how would you do that?
Yeah.
Encompass them, engage them, also encompass them.
Yeah, well, the obvious answer is to give prasadam. Because my Guru Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he became he went in his final years before he left the world, he went back to university. And he went to the American Conference for Religious Studies as an undergraduate, and wherever he went, he would carry cookies, prasadam. And he became well known amongst all the professors all over America. And he went for several years in a row. And then as soon as some of them saw him, they would say, "Oh, where's the cookies?" All right? So he's just giving out prasadam wherever he went. So that's one way we can do it. I know another devotee who works in his office, and in the morning when everyone arrives and everything, he won't respond to anyone unless they say Hari Bol. So they get there and they say good morning, and he just ignores them. And when they say Hari Bol, then he says, "Oh, Hari Bol," and then they start talking. So there's all ways you can do it. There are many ways you can do it. Hari Bol. Any other questions? Or where is it? Yeah.
So you mentioned you have to do dana till you do distress. Why is that quality amazing?
It means that you have to give something significant to Krishna. That's all it means. Yeah, give something significant. If you're a rich man, give a lot. Right? And if you're a poor man, give something. That's the point. Okay. Any other questions?
When you worship the Lord Krishna, you feel really good. And that's the best feeling. But the thing is, like when you obviously go to uni or you sitting with your friends, they don't, like in friend circle, a lot of people are not devotees. They just don't like talking about devotional stuff. They're like, "Oh, come on, man. Let's talk about something else." So how do I we stay there? Because I've got distracted so many times, so many thousand times.
Yeah.
And I'm still coming back on the track.
Yeah.
But
What do you do?
when I get distracted, it's just the feeling, I got distracted from Krishna.
Yeah.
It's not the best feeling.
Yeah, it's not the best feeling. So move into the brahmachari ashram. Okay? Finish your studies, then become a brahmachari, all right? And you'll be happy. Okay, I know. So it means that if you can't do that, then associate with the devotees as much as you can. Right? Do your university stuff, and then as soon as you can leave, go and be with the devotees, and then you'll be okay. Okay? Any other questions? Little girl, yeah.
Why does show Krishna in blue color?
Why is Krishna blue? Because when the sky is blue, right? And how does it make you feel? It makes you feel very happy. So that color that Krishna is, that is the color of bliss. So Krishna is so happy that he turns that color. And that's why he is like a sky bluish color, that beautiful color. Yeah, he's always blue, because he's always happy. So he's always blue. So. Any other question? Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki? Jai. Krishna Jayanti ki? Jai. Go Premanande. Gauranga.
It's on the white side. Come on.